In the name of Allah, the most merciful, the most compassionate, very warm welcome to another edition of Bright Horizon. In the previous video, we talked about Arba'een walk and raised some questions accordingly. In this video, we will strive to address those key questions about Arba'een. If you have already participated in the Arba'een pilgrimage and walking, you have almost certainly felt the profound impact of the following words resonate within your soul and mind.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the heaven on earth, Karbala, the kingdom of two brothers, the land of blessings, whose sand is the sand of cure, and the air is medicine, wishing you a pleasant stay in Karbala.
Like previous years, this year too, the Arba'een pilgrimage was held with splendor and grandeur. An estimated crowd of 25 to 30 million participated in this international gathering. This enormous multitude, at the end of this religious and interfaith gathering, prepares themselves to participate in and organize the Arba'een pilgrimage and visitation next year. The farewell moments with the Husseini Mokibs is very sorrowful for the volunteer servers and participants.
مأجورين إن شاء الله مأجورين إن شاء الله مأجور حمود مأجور هذه الدموع الصادقة خدمة أبي عبد الله مأجور إن شاء الله مأجور مأجورين إن شاء الله مأجورين إن شاء الله
نحیف و دل شکسته
مأجورين إن شاء الله مأجورين إن شاء الله بالعودة عليكم إن شاء الله دموع المغفرة مأجورين إن شاء الله.
The interesting point of the matter is that contrary to the belief of those who are not familiar with this pilgrimage, it is not only Shiites who attend this visitation. Folks from various nationalities, Sunni brothers and sisters, and even people from other religions also participate. Let us take a glimpse of this event together.
I don't know how anyone could not have a relationship with him. I mean, there's no day like the day of Imam Hussein, what he went through, his struggle. Anytime people around me or myself are going through something, I think of Abu Abdullah, and nothing will ever compare to the struggle of Abu Abdullah. Back in Australia, they have no idea what it's like in Iraq. On the way here, I was very overwhelmed. I didn't know what to think. But alhamdulillah, now that I'm here, it's so beautiful. You don't see this really in the West, people who have nothing giving everything. Well, it does make me sad because like we're going from city to city and we have food and we have water, but like what's it saying to Zainab have? Intercede on my behalf on the Day of Judgment.
Additionally, thinkers, great figures, and intellectuals around the world have expressed interesting interpretations about Imam Hussein, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, some of which are as follows. Antoine Barra, Christian author: if Hussein had been a Christian among us, we would have made flags for him in every land. We would have written his name atop churches and called people to Christianity in his name. Edward Brown, English Orientalist: is there a heart that when hearing about Karbala does not become overwhelmed with sorrow and pain? Even non-Muslims cannot deny the purity of the spirit that was present in this sacrifice. Thomas Carlyle, Scottish philosopher. The best lesson we learn from the tragedy of Karbala is that Hussein and his companions had a steadfast faith in God. Through their actions, they demonstrated that numerical superiority does not matter when truth faces falsehood. As mentioned in the previous video, this great global event is not covered by most of the world's media, and that is why most people are unaware of it. Therefore, in this video, we intend to answer the key questions in this area. Accordingly, we invited Dr. Mohammadi, a university professor, a specialist in religious affairs, and a cultural activist, to join the program and answer the questions. Dr. Mohammadi, welcome to the program. It's a great honor to have you today with us. As the first question, please tell us very briefly what the Arba'een pilgrimage is, and does this event have historical roots?
Okay, thank you very much, brother. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, wa bihi nasta'een, wa sallallahu ala Muhammadin wa ahli bayti at-tayyibin at-tahirin. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa ajjal farajahum. Yes, with respect to what Arba'een is, I have to say that Arba'een is the 40th day after the day where Imam al-Hussein ﷺ and his companions were martyred on the day of Ashura. So the 40th day after the day of Ashura, which is normally the 20th day of Safar, is called Arba'een. So this is what Arba'een is. And with respect to the history of Arba'een, I have to say that it's been reported that on that day, the captives of the family members of Imam al-Hussein ﷺ, who were captivated by the tyrants of the time, they returned to the grave of Imam al-Hussein ﷺ and paid a visit to the graves of the martyrs at that time. And the first person, it's been narrated that the first person who visited the tomb, he was Jabir ibn Abdullah al-Ansari, who was a senior companion of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So he, together with Atiyat al-Kufi, one of his friends, they visited the tomb of, or the grave of Imam al-Hussein alayhi salatu wasalam, barefooted, while crying and shedding tears. And then they met, it's been reported that they met with the captives. There are some traditions or some narratives that the captives of Karbala, they visited the tomb the next year after the year 61 after Hijrah, or 680 CE. So that's a sort of quick and short history of Arba'een. About the philosophy of the walk on the day of Arba'een, or the procession that is held every single year on Arba'een, again, there are a number of points that could be mentioned. First of all, there are some traditions where they visiting Imam al-Hussein or going to pilgrimage or on pilgrimage to the tomb and grave of Imam al-Hussein is encouraged. Let me just read you one of these traditions. So it's been narrated from Imam الصادق عليه الصلاة والسلام. He says, من أتى قبر الحسين ماشيا كتب الله له بكل خطبة ألف حسنة ومحى عنه ألف سيئة ورفع له ألف درجة. Whoever comes to the grave of Hussein walking, Allah will record him 1,000 good deeds, erase 1,000 sins, and raise him 1,000 degrees for every step he takes. So this is one, for example, tradition. And it continued, this walk or this visiting, it's been there in the history, even though that it's been banned many times and severely forbidden by the tyrants of time, even right after the demise and the martyrdom of Imam al-Hussein alayhi salatu wassalam, especially at the time of Abbasides. So, for example, at the time of Mutawakkil, he would even kill people who go to the ziyarah of Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam. He would cut off the hands and, feet of the people who would go to the ziyarah of Imam al-Hussein alayhi salatu wassalam. But still, there were many people going to ziyarah. And in the modern time, we have Saddam, who at his time, he didn't allow the ziyarah of Arba'een, but after the fall of the Saddam's regime in 2003, right after the fall of Saddam's regime, the Iraqis, they started going to the ziyarah of Arba'een again.
Thank you so much, Doctor. The second question is, what is the philosophy of the Arba'een walk and pilgrimage, and what role does it play in people's lives today?
Yes, with respect to the philosophy behind this procession, very, beautiful and grandiose procession that we see every year, there are a number of points or dimensions that we can mention. The first one is the spiritual dimension. So you see that these people go to the ziyarah of Imam Hussein to keep alive the message of Ashura, the message of Imam Hussein, which was standing for the truth, justice, and God's cause. So these are the mottos or the sha'a'ir that are to be held or to be uplifted there in the ziyarat of Arba'een. So, for example, we have this tradition from Imam Sadiq alayhi salatu wassalam, in ziyarat al-Husayn ta'adilu ma'ata hajjatin maqbula. So this much of reward is given to a person who goes to the ziyarah of Imam Hussein, because in that way, in that ziyarah, he or she is now uplifting the cause for which Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wassalam and his companions were martyred. Another point or another dimension is the ethical and moral training that a person goes through while going to ziyarah of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, especially on the ziyarah of Arba'een. So you see that the patience, the humility, the sacrifice that people would do on those days, walking towards the shrine of Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wasalam, the troubles and problems that they would go through, reaching to the city of Karbala. Those people who have actually experienced what this procession know what I say. And this is another dimension. Another dimension is the social and communal dimension. So it's a very good portray of the Muslim unity, especially done by the Shias. So today, this is, when you go to this procession, you see people from every race, from every background, even from different sects, and even some non-Muslims going to that procession. And you see that the humanity come together there to show their respect for Imam Hussein ﷺ, and showing that they affirm and they are with Imam Hussein and the cause that he was martyred for. And another dimension would be the civilizational and political dimensions. So in this way, they show that this is the way that we have to stand against tyranny and oppression of the time, especially with this tragedies and massacres that we see in Gaza, in Palestine, done by the these I don't know what to call them anymore. There are no words to describe them anymore after almost 2 years of massacring people and slaughtering children and women and people. So this is another message that we can, I think, receive from Arba'een, and another philosophy laying behind the procession of Arba'een.
Thank you a great deal, Doctor. The last question. Why is the Arba'een pilgrimage, which is the largest human gathering in history, not covered by the media?
Yes, it is not covered by the media or that much, or even sometimes at all. I think there are two reasons. The first one, is the message that this procession bears, that I refer to some messages that, or some philosophies behind this procession. So because they know that if it goes viral, the cause of Imam Hussein والسلام, would be revealed for the whole world. And that's not something that the tyrants and the oppressors of the world want. So that's one thing, and they control the media, so they don't allow the media to cover this procession, because if people know about Hussein, for sure they will go and read more about him and know what he stood for, why he was killed, and the oppression that he stood against at his time. They get to know what the reality of that tragedy was, and that's not something that they want. That's one thing. And another thing is that again, it refers to the enemies of Islam. So they know that the strategy that they normally support is divide and rule. Okay, so, and that's when it comes to the Shia especially, it's very important for them not to for the Shias not to be known as the people of peace. So this procession is actually the largest peaceful annual walk or procession ever happening in the whole world. So the Shias should not be known for that, for peaceful acts and peaceful gestures. So that's another thing. I remember one brother living in Deutschland, in Holland. He said that once we went to the government and wanted to ask them if we are allowed to have a procession there, and they asked us whether we have self-flagellation or not. Do we have tatbir or not? We said no, we don't have tatbir. We actually assure you that we don't have tatbir. He said, if you don't have tatbir, we're not going to allow you to do those, that procession. So this is the picture that they want to portray from the Shia, a picture full of blood, a picture of full of self-flagellation, things like that. Shias should not be known as thoughtful people, should not be known as people who has a clear and lovely picture. So that's why they don't allow the media to cover these things.
Thank you so much for your time, Doctor, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you.
Okay, thank you very much. It was a pleasure to be with you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.